Hey everybody, it's Anthony Conklin. Welcome to my stream. Hope you guys are having a great day today. I'm going to have a little coffee conversation with you, stealing a little line from Miss Jasmine Stark because she likes doing her coffee streams. So this is my coffee conversation with you. And I hope you guys are having a great day today. I did some posting up on Instagram and also on Facebook about journaling. And I wanted to follow up with a couple of thoughts on why I think journaling is super, super important. So I started journaling more than 10 years ago, and I guess the reason why I started journaling is because I heard it from Tony Robbins and some other influencers at the time to say, and they basically said, well, if you write things down, you're going to basically take all the things that you have in your head and you're going to put them down on paper. So I started journaling about 10 years ago, and what I found is that I went from just writing down some dreams and some ideas and some thoughts to putting it more in a structured way. So what I want to do over the next couple minutes is to take you through what I think has been helpful for me in journaling. So the one thing I realized with journaling that makes it effective is that you have to write with an intent. Meaning you have to write down exactly what you want and exactly what you're thinking. And basically, as Tim Ferriss says, you're trapping your thoughts down on paper. So here's the format that I use. I'm not going to make this a long video, guys. I just want to throw these things out to you, and I hope it's helpful to you. And if you'd like to have a one-on-one conversation with me about it, I'm happy to do that. So here's the format of my journal. The first thing I do is I write down the 3 things that I'm grateful for. So before that, I write down the date and I write down the time and I write down that I'm so inspired to write into my journal today. So the first thing I do is I write down the 3 things I'm grateful for, and usually those 3 things, one of them is business or professional. One is personal and family, and then one is more like just a simple thing I'm grateful for. So let's work backward to front. So the simple thing could be I'm grateful for the sun, that it's a beautiful sunny day today. I'm grateful for the air that I breathe, that I don't have to worry about being very sick or having other things help me because I might be sick, right? So all the simple things are really important. So I say that I'm very grateful, and then the second thing I move towards is my family. So I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for having the people that I have in my life. I'm grateful for my family as a whole. I'm just grateful that they're there. And I truly feel it. When you're grateful for something, you have to feel it in your deep in your soul. It's got to get into your bones. So you truly, when you say you're grateful, you close your eyes and you feel their presence. You feel them with you. Okay, this is not hocus pocus stuff, guys. This is real. So you feel like imagine you're hugging one of your kids. Imagine you're hugging one of your friends, and you're so grateful for them. And the third thing I move over to is I'm grateful for my business. I'm grateful that my business makes money, or I'm grateful that my business is going to make money, or I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to be able to do the things that I love to do. Or I'm grateful to be able to travel all over the place. Hey, John, how are you? Thanks for joining. So that's how I start my journal. I start with those 3 very specific things, because what you do is when you write down the things that you're grateful for, you're telling yourself and you're telling the universe, and I believe this, guys. I truly, truly believe this. When you tell the universe what you're grateful for, you're basically sending a message out. It's sort of like you're a radio transmitter. For those of you guys who don't listen to radios that are millennials, radio transmitter is you're basically saying, okay, universe, here's what I'm grateful for, and I want to send those signals out to the rest of the world, the rest of the planet. So I'm letting people know that, or I'm letting the universe know of the things I'm very grateful for. So again, I write down something that's very simple, relatively simple, family and personal, and then business. And then I start getting to work. I start writing down there's a particular paragraph in the book by Napoleon Hill called Think and Grow Rich. And it starts out with me stating a very specific intention in my life, something that I want to accomplish. Now, this accomplishment is something that's very, very big. Okay, it's almost, they say it's a huge ask or a huge want. And the way I go about it is I say, I, Anthony Conklin, have in my possession, and I write down the possession that I have. And I describe what that possession is. Let's say, I'll tell you the story. In April 2013, I wanted to buy my first Mercedes because I felt like I was ready for one. I felt like I wanted to have a luxury car. I just wanted to have one in my life. So I wrote down, I, Anthony Conklin, on this date, I own a black Mercedes, and then I detailed it for you. So what I did was, after I wrote that down, I went and I experienced it. I went to a Mercedes dealership. I sat in the car. I felt the steering wheel. I smelt the newness of the leather. I took it for a test drive. It was an amazing feeling. And then I wrote down all the things I had to do to get that Mercedes, that I wanted it on this date, and that I met a certain person at a certain time. So I just basically took all of my thoughts about getting this Mercedes down in my head. Now, I won't tell you the rest of the story because that's the hook of the video. So after I write down, I, Anthony Conklin, have this particular possession, then I continue and say, I, Anthony Conklin, have this much money in my possession at this particular time. So if you look in the book, Think and Grow Rich, it's page 61. So if you want to look at it right now, don't look at it right now because you're watching my video, please. If you go to page 61 of the book, Think and Grow Rich, there's a section that says, where you're basically doing what they call an affirmation. That affirmation will take you through, here is what I want, here's what I'm asking for, here's how I move through. Hey, Robert, how you doing? Thanks for joining, brother. I appreciate you being here. Hope you're doing well and hope you're healthy. So I write down that intention, and then what I do is I say to myself, I have this in my possession at this particular time. So as I'm writing that, I'm starting to feel what it's like to have that in my possession. So if I say I had $1 million in cash, so I say, I, Anthony Conklin, have in my possession $1 million in cash on January 1st, 2015. Now, I really write that down because I need it. I really want to acquire that. Now, the reason why you have to write it so specifically is because the universe is going to give you exactly what you ask for, right? They say, be careful what you wish for. You be very careful. I mean, I remember saying to myself, I was in a situation at work, and I said, okay, well, fire me. And you know what? I found out 6 months later that I got fired. Well, they let a lot of people go, and I was part of being the let go team, and I was fired. So be very careful what you wish for. So let's go back to the beginning, guys. 3 things you're grateful for. The second thing you want to talk about is what you have in your possession. Use page 61 of Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. It's fantastic, and believe me, it works. Then I go into a few things that I actually learned from somebody that I'll say his name, Grant Cardone. I'm not a big fan of his, but I think he's super, super successful. But Grant used to write down things in a journal probably 4 years ago. I had a chance to meet Grant in New York when he was here, and he used to talk about, he briefly talked about some things he wrote in his journal. And, you know, I write things down like, I am in perfect health and physical condition. And I write down what my weight is. I weigh 200 pounds. My blood pressure is 120/70. Right? I live on this particular street, in this particular neighborhood. I wear these type of clothes. I dedicate, 1 hour a week to giving charity. I go 1 hour a week to church. And I start writing all these things down every single day in my journal. And what it does, it instills in me that I have these things in my possession already, or I become that person. They say fake it till you make it. Don't fake it till you make it. Think and you'll become. Okay? There's a quotable for you. Think and you shall become. Ask and you shall receive. So you have to think on that level. So what you do is once you start getting into your journal, after you start writing down all the things that you're grateful for, you write down the I have in my possession, then you write down the third one. Then you want to get into other areas of your life that you want to grow with. So like I write down, I have completed my first paid speaking engagement on this date. Or I write down, I write my first book and it is published on this date. It becomes a New York Times bestseller on this date. Now, here's the trick to writing in your journal. Here's the trick. Not everything comes true, and let me tell you why. And it has nothing to do with the laws of the universe. Here's why certain things happen and certain things don't happen in your journal. The things that happen are things that you consistently and insistently and with intent write down every single day with a knowing that you're going to get it on the date that you have. Even though it's some super wild ass thing and it's huge and you think you're not going to accomplish it. Here's the answer. Here's the end of the story to my Mercedes story. Here's the ending to my Mercedes story. So in April 2013, I started to write things down every single day about the car I wanted to drive. And all of a sudden, about 9 or 10 months later, things started to happen. I didn't realize this until after it happened. So I started to meet people who drove Mercedes or who drove luxury cars. I met someone who worked for a dealership. And for some reason, all these things kind of came together. And then I found out a friend of a friend knew someone who worked at Mercedes, So it could give you, a good deal on a car, let's say. I don't mean a good deal, but to help you get a car for a reasonable price. And it wasn't until probably January of that next year that I started to look around and say, okay, well, I'm going to get this car. I'm going to get this car. So what I did was I went to a dealership. I sat in one for the last time, and I said, I think I want to get this one. But I just couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford down payment. I had some other financial commitments in my life. I wasn't really ready for it. And all of a sudden, it came together in April of 2014 where I met with the dealership. I met with this gentleman, and he said, Anthony, we have a special. You only have to put this much down, or you have to put no money down, and then this will be the monthly payment. And I go, okay, I'm going to do it. So in April 2014, I drove off the lot with my new Mercedes. Now, listen, I'm not saying this to pound my chest and brag. I'm saying this because it's so amazing, the power of intention, right? Now, I'm not saying you guys sit down and say, well, wish for stuff and it happens. Because if you do that and you don't do any work, they're going to come take your car away. And they're going to come take your car away, your couch, your clothes. You're not going to be able to pay your bills because you won't be working. You set an intention in your journal, you write it down every day, then you take one action every single day that's going to get you to that destiny, get you to that goal. So you write down every single day, this is what I want, this is what I want to accomplish, and then you get to it. After you write down, I have in my possession these things, and then you write down, I'm in perfect physical condition, I am, my blood pressure, my weight, my relationship, my finances, my community, my religion, all these things you write down. But then you have to do it every single day. You come back and do it every single day. Every single day, because the power of intention is so important. So I want you to think about this. I want you to think about this before you go into the weekend. I want you to say to yourself, and then fill it out and just do it. Just write it in your journal. I don't have my journal with me right now, but I will show it to you in my next live stream. But I want you to write in your journal, and I want you to say to yourself, I have this, I own this, I own this, and I guarantee you, so here's the statistic, and I'm going to leave you with this number, guys. Here's the fact. Here are the facts. 95% of what you write down in your journal, that you write down with intention and with full thought and full awareness and full acceptance that it's going to come into your life, will happen within 12 to 14 months. And I will prove it to you. I'll show you my journal next stream. So the power of journaling is this. If you want things to happen in your life, you got to write it down. If you want things to happen in your life, you got to do the work, which means you got to take one action every single day that gets you closer to that, reaching that goal, accomplishing that goal, getting to that destiny. And journaling, what it does, it traps your thoughts on paper. It gives you clarity. It gives you accountability, but also gives you focus. Remember, the universe wants to give you what you are asking for, but you're not going to get it if you keep pushing it away by saying, well, I can't do it. I don't have enough money. Oh, I'm too old. I'm too young. I have too many kids. I'm too tall. I'm too short. I'm too fat. I'm too Italian. I'm too Jewish. I'm too this. I'm too that. Stop with excuses. Excuses are like assholes. Everyone's got one, okay? So remember, if you want something bad enough, write it down in your journal. Focus on doing one thing every single day to get you to that destination, and you will. Anyway, guys, hope this is helpful. You can find me here on Facebook. I'm at anthonyjconklin.com. I'm an executives and marketing sales leader and speaker. You can find me at anthonyjconklin.com. Leave your notes. Love to hear your thoughts on journaling. Until next time, love you guys. I'll see you soon.